All right, hello everybody. My name is Daniel,
My name is Gunnar.
and we're here to welcome you to the Gaifus for Laifus podcast.
Ooh, I've been so excited for this. I've been waiting so long since I was born, really.
Oh, I'm glad one of us has been. So
It's the yin and the yang. I love it. You hate it. It balances everything out.
yeah, I'm just here for the one day we get the free anime stuff.
Exactly. So this is going to be episode 1 of our Gaifus for Laifus. Like I said, my name's Gunnar. This is Daniel. We're best bros, and we love anime. And we all, really anything in the nerd culture. So what this podcast is all going to be about is everything that makes us a weeb.
So I guess this is the part of the podcast where I explain my credentials to everybody, so they know that we are actually not talking out of our butts.
Yeah.
So when I got into anime as a kid, probably like a lot of other people did, not knowing that it was actually anime. I grew up watching like Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, and I just thought they were more like edgier cartoons.
Yeah.
I never really made the connection that it was made in Japan or anything like that as a kid. They keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
So after that point, I pretty much stopped. And when I got to high school, also because Toonami and stuff like that just kind of died out around that time. And then because I was in high school, I didn't really watch anime, but we had the anime kids.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, right. So, the typical, they had the rolly backpacks. They had the fedora. They were the fedora kids.
Yeah, in high school, like you could never be like a dude or a person that just liked anime. It's either you had to be the extreme. You had to be wearing a fedora with your leather jacket.
Yeah,
like
or the trench coat, but that didn't age well. So
it did not. Or you have to be all about the 49ers and I don't know. In my town, it was all about it was all about the 49ers, and everyone thought they were going to make it to A1, but they never did.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I mean, I grew up a Raider fan, so we can. I'm sure the fans can unpack that later.
Yeah,
but
that's probably why you're all messed up now.
Just because it's true doesn't mean it doesn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, it's okay.
But so the biggest thing when you're on a sports team, especially a sport like football, is like if you do anything out of the norm, you're used to be ridiculed. So
yeah,
I never really thought about it until I think maybe either my junior year of college. I think I ended up watching SAO, Sword Art. And I remember watching that because I was like, oh, it's a cartoon. And then getting really invested in it. I know Asuna's the classic, the classic waifu pick. But
you could do worse. You could do worse.
Yeah, you could do worse. But I ended up really falling in love with the dynamic, because usually in cartoons, right, there's not a strong romantic relationship. Romance isn't really a thing. If it is, it's like made cartoonish. Mm-hmm. And so for me, just the fact that like her and Kirito were together, and I think it was, so spoilers for people who haven't seen Sword Art, I think it's when they kill the main dude who locked him. His name was like Heathcliff or something, and like they're both everything's getting deleted because he's like, well, when I die, it all deletes. Yeah. And they're like saying goodbye, and like for some reason like that hit me, and I think that was like I got emotional about it. And that's when I was like, okay, like this is cool because I get to stay young in the sense that it's like a cartoon, but it deals with like adult themes like that, or even like My Hero is about like overcoming, usually it's about overcoming things without having powers or having an obstacle in your way. At least that's shonen.
No, I definitely feel that. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Sword Art Online, that last episode, when they're all like fading away and he wakes up in the machine, that was emotional, and I thought it was really good, and then it just went all downhill from there. We
don't talk about them being the elves. That was a dark time. But apparently they picked it back up in season 3 with Underworld. So maybe one day we'll get around to talking about that.
Yeah, in all honesty, I kind of dropped it real fast. So.
Oh, I mean, I think it was up for an anime. I think it's up in the anime awards. So shout out to the next pod.
Yeah, episode 2.
So that was my journey. Then I just embraced it and kind of ran with it, and then from there, it felt like it's kind of like this niche thing. It felt like it was, it's weird. You think about like being an anime fan. It's like, it feels like when you're, before it got really mainstream, it felt like being a fan of like a indie artist before they got big.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like, then they make it big, and then you get to sit there and you're like, I was there at the beginning, man. Like I was there when it was before they were nothing, or before they were anything.
Before they were even like hip. Like I get you.
Yeah. Which I guess if we're gonna go down that road too, that's where you get the gatekeeping and stuff like that from. But that was my journey, and then ironically, we're working at the dorm. I worked at the dorms at Fresno State. Go Bulldogs!
Roof roof.
Yeah, we're gonna get some new followers with that one.
Yeah. It's quality chat.
Yeah, working in the dorms, you get exposed to a lot of people, and ironically, some of my closest friends and like you and a couple of our other buddies like are in the anime, and that's how we just that's how we ended up where we're at.
I remember we'll have one story for when we have our friend Chris on the podcast. We were watching Your Name. That's a great anime film, and it was so emotional. And the funniest thing in the world happened right at the end of that movie. You remember that with Chris?
Oh, it was. I thought that was at the end. Was that at the end? That felt like I thought that was the beginning. Was it at the beginning? It was because we had to wait for him to start it.
No, was it right at the beginning? I thought it was right at the end. Because I remember being so like, wow, like we just went through something. Okay, so should we tell the story now?
We'll leave everyone in suspense, and we'll talk about it.
You're right, exactly. We'll have Chris explain it. Yeah,
so,
that'll be good.
But yeah, so that's my journey. So I've dug down the rabbit hole. I've done the deep Wikipedia dives. I read the mangas. We can maybe we'll do like a manga versus and like actual anime like conversation at some point.
That'll be a good one. Anime all the way.
Yeah, but yeah, going back to this too. I know you did mention that we're not just trying to be a anime pod, but it's more like a nerd podcast, so I'm a big Star Wars fan. I hope we'll get to talk a little bit about that, maybe some D&D.
Yeah, we've had some really fun playing 5e of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
we've had some. For those of you that don't know, layman's term, but we've had a lot of moments where I thought the friendship was over.
Yeah, maybe we can discuss some of those when we get to that part of the set. Yeah. So that's my journey. All right, so we are here talking about Gunner's journey into the world of anime.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alrighty, so my journey to anime kind of starts the same way. Got a shout out to Toonami. As a kid, I remember I would go to bed. My parents go to bed super early. Even now, they go to bed like 8, 9 o'clock. And so what I would do is I'd go to bed and then I'd wake up like around 10 or 11, right when Toonami was about to start. And I would have to sneak my way to the living room because we only had one TV. It was in the living room.
The old school.
Yeah, and it was one of the big, it's a big box TV. Yeah. Real giant. And I'd have to sneak in. It didn't have a remote, so I had to do everything on the TV itself. So I'd sneak up to it, and I'd have to quietly try to open because it was in like a wardrobe thing. You'd have to open the double doors to get the TV. So I have to very quietly try to open that up without waking anybody up. Then I turn it on, and the most memorable anime. The two that I can remember the most watching as a kid was first Inuyasha.
Oh yeah, Inuyasha.
That slapped. I still to this day, I don't think I've wanted to be more of a wolf boy than I did back then.
Uh-huh.
He
So
made me
you were furry before furry.
before it was popular, dude. I felt it, especially because he had the white hair. I was like, he looks sick. I was loving it. And I was fit. That was it. So I like Inuyasha that was one of them. The other one that I remember vividly was Fully Cooley.
Oh, you were Fully Cool. I've seen people talk about it. I've never actually watched.
It is now speaking as an adult, it is like an acid trip as a child. Because I would watch it and there's all these it's all this it's one of those animes that it kind of reminds me of Devilman Crybaby. If you've ever watched that, that's another one.
That one was an experience. We could talk about that.
And that's another one on Netflix. That's a slap. I recommend that for anybody. But it's kind of one of those ones you got to go in and it's not an anime. I feel like it's more of an experience, and that's how I kind of feel like Fully Cooley was because I would watch it, and it has the kind of vibes. What I can compare it to right now is Listeners. I don't know. That's a new one that just came. It came out last year, but because of the shutdown and everything, they just started rolling out episodes. So, but that has the same kind of feel to it. Okay. Of that kind of everything. The episodes for Listeners start. I think the subs were still coming out. But I liked watching the dubs because it has the voice actor for Midoriya, for My Hero. And he's really good in it.
Oh, yeah. Was it Josh Grell or something like that?
Yeah, here, let's look it up right now. Midoriya, voice actor.
So that was your first realm in the...
Yeah, Josh Brenner. Yeah, so Fully Cooley, that was a trip. And I remember watching it, and I remember the main chick, she had that punk rock aesthetic, and that was hot.
With the guitar
and bass. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't understand, I knew, now I know she was hot, but I didn't understand it. I was like, what is this feeling inside of me? And so those are my two most vivid memories.
Woke you up? Did you realize what's going on?
Yeah, those were my earliest ones, and and from there, it's just kind of the same thing with you. Once you get into middle school, high school, I feel like a lot of times there's no middle ground. It's either you're all in it, you're a weeb all the way, or you don't associate at all. So, but kind of towards the later end of my high school career, I joined I did an after school club at the library, at my local library, and it was really cool. I got to hang out with a bunch of, because I was really into reading back in high school, so I got to hang out with other teens from the different school districts in our area. But we would just come together and we would just play board games and talk about we would do a book club and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We read Hunger Games and I'm trying to think about it. What are the other ones we read? We read a lot of books. Hunger Games was the one I remember the most because we would have hour-long debates about what it all means and stuff like that.
About whether Katniss and Peter should have been together.
That and the metaphors of what it all means, is how it relates in the dystopia future, and her sacrificing herself. We went on for hours about that, and we would never agree. We all had different viewpoints, and we wouldn't mix. Everyone had their stance. And we would all just argue to the death, but it was it was fun. But it was also back then I had two friends whose names were, it was Erica and Jessica, and they were really into manga, and so they would always talk to me about all the mangas they were reading. And the one that I remember most vividly was, I could never remember the name until I watched it, but they told me about this one manga, and the dude got his superpowers from eating the other dude's hair. And then they were talking about My Hero, and then like 4 years later when My Hero drops, the anime drops, and everyone's like going crazy over it. I'm like, oh, that's what they meant. And so
you're living the worldwide experience.
Exactly. It's like they were ahead of the game before the game was even invented. So, but yeah, so then going into college, that's where I met you. And I feel like, and then also when you get to college, then everyone kind of drops their like
guard.
Their guard and like the personas that you create to kind of like shield yourself. That all goes out the door. You can just do whatever you want. And so that's when anime really kind of just took a hyperdrive into my life. My Hero, I finished watching all Naruto, started Boruto, that's trash, but that's a whole other story. And yeah, it's my intro on how I became the greatest weeb that there ever was. So you ready to go on to the next segment for today?
Sure. Yeah, let's jump into the next episode of news and events.
Yeah. Super simple. Biggest thing I want to talk about is really amazing anime. Second season, second episode just dropped today, but the whole second season. It's the Promised Neverland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the one. You've been banging the drum on this, and
I sound the alarm. It's so good, so good. And season 2 is looking like it's going to be pretty good. I have my, you always gotta worry when it's the second season. I had the same feeling like going into My Hero and stuff like that. Like, is it going to be good? But I have high hopes for Promised Neverland. The second episode just dropped. I haven't watched it yet, but I watched the first episode of the second season, and that's good. For anybody who hasn't watched it before, Promised Neverland is a great anime. It's a very much a thriller.
Okay. Yeah. So, explain to the kids.
Yeah. So
what's going on? Even
the synopsis of Promised Neverland, and if anybody who wants to watch it for themselves, which I definitely recommend just watching it. It's a really short one. First season's only 10 episodes. You can blow through it in a day. Super simple. But so if you don't want any spoilers, just go ahead and just skip forward like 5 minutes and come back. But pretty much the synopsis is you find it's a bunch of it's the story of the children. It's like a nice little orphanage, and all these kids are living like happy lives, carefree, playing around. There's like a caretaker that they call mom, and they take care of the kids, and the kids are like, they're all dressed like, the first thing you notice is they're all really like, they're in clean white like not uniforms, but like almost like white pajamas.
Yeah, they're like pajamas or something like that.
Yeah, and it's like everything's like, it's like clean and precise, and they live happy. Like, they eat real well. They have happy lives, and they're all like one big happy family. Well, you find out from the first episode that the kids, because they've never gone outside of it's almost like almost like a cottage kind of home, and there's like a big gate that like fences them in, and they've never gone outside of it. And so you find the main characters, there's 3 of them, and so the main characters find out that they're actually, when you leave the orphanage, everyone thinks that you're going to you got adopted. That's what they tell you. You get adopted, but when you leave the orphanage, a bunch of demons come and like murder you, and they take the body to go, like, we're assuming they do like some big feast or something like that. But like, so the first episode, it's like this little girl, she gets adopted. It's her day. She's been adopted. And they're like, everyone's all sad to see her go, but it's like happy because she's gonna have her own family and stuff like that. And so the main character, forget the main character's name. There's 3 of them.
Isn't it like Emily or something?
One's Emma.
And then
one's Norman, and then the third one is Ray. Yeah, Ray. So Emily's kind of like the main protagonist. Oh, I'm sorry, not Emily. Emma is the main protagonist, and Norman's kind of like, he's the really smart one, but he's like kind of frail. And then Ray is kind of the edgelord of the group. Edgelord. So he's the Sasuke.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, so the one girl, she's getting adopted. Everyone's sad. Well, she leaves behind her teddy bear, right? And then, so Emma and Norman go, and they're like, oh, she just left. We can go run out and give it to her. And so they run out, and they go past with a gate where they're not allowed to go past, but it's open because the one girl's getting adopted. And they can't find her. They see there's like a truck there, and they've never really seen a car before either.
Yeah.
Well, they look in the back of the car, and it's just the girl, and she's dead, and she's in like a vial, kind of like a vial. You'd see like a frog that's like in a lab class.
Yeah.
And so she's in there, and she's like, she dead, and they're all freaking the fuck out. And then all these demons, and they're big. They're like 20-foot tall demons, like. Looks like something out of like a Tim Burton movie, but and they're crazy, and they're able to escape. And now knowing this knowledge that, oh, we don't get adopted, we're just like lambs to a slaughter. It's them trying to figure out how to escape.
Oh, okay, yeah. You told me about this. It's like a cat and mouse kind of thing.
Exactly, and it's like there's plot twists that happen along the way. And it goes back and forth. It's Jessica, my waifu, really loves it because everything connects. You know what I mean? A lot of animes, they leave stuff out, and like there'll be like strings.
After a while.
Yeah, exactly. Strings that come up that they kind of forget about, like that'll never come back up again. But in like Promised Neverland, everything really fits together really well. And it feels like I'm sure there are some little stuff, but as of right now, everything that we notice, everything kind of just really meshes well together. So it's a really amazing anime. And yeah, second season just dropped. I thought, I'm not going to give any spoilers for second season since it's just come out, but I'm just going to say it's good. Go watch it. Watch it right now. Well, after this, watch it.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah. But I'm ringing the bell. That one, number one all the way. And also season 1's intro slaps. It has like this like saxophone rip. That's like,
oh yeah, they do the same guys that do the intro for, I think, Laifus.
Oh yeah.
And then they did it for, I think it was one of the My Hero intros. So
that's cool. All the My Hero intros usually slap. So.
Yeah,
that's good. But it's
pretty solid group. I have some of their stuff on my phone. So so that's my news. That's Promised Neverland season 2. Go watch it. You need it. You want it. Get yourself that Promised Neverland. I know you've been watching the last season of Attack on Titan. How's that going? It's going well. I mean, honestly, it's super interesting. I'm really excited. I know a lot of people have been banging the drum on it. I definitely think it's probably one of the few. It's good. Not even for an anime. It's just good all around. It's kind of like what like the Dark Knight did for like superhero movies, where people realize that like, oh, it can not just be like a high level comic book hero movie. It's a high level movie in general. So there's a high level. Yeah. Everything, I've talked to a couple of my friends about it, and the biggest thing for us is how, despite how like not bizarre the plot is, but just how much of there's time jumps and stuff like that, but they're still able to bring everything around and have it make sense.
Gotcha.
So first season, you find out about the powers of the Titans. Second season, you find about like this little political kind of like a cat and mouse thriller thing going. Third season is the people in the walls taking the power back, and then the fourth one is this all-out war.
I've only seen the cover art for the fourth. I'm caught up except to the fourth. I haven't watched anything from the new season, but the cover art, it looks intense. Like it looks like it's all it's gonna be a lot of action packed.
Yeah, no. And I think the argument a lot of people made for this new season that I've seen is that it is a little slow. But I will say before, without giving too much, is it does tell the tale of what it's like on the other side.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so everyone's used to hearing about Eren and their side on what it's like on the island, but then you get to hear like what Reiner and like Bertolt and Annie grew up with before all this stuff happened, and like what life is like for them, and why the Titans are coming, how they pick who gets to be a Titan, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that should be good. I'm planning on watching it. I'm thinking because I've only watched the dub, but for everyone out there, Daniel's told me dub is trash for Attack on Titan. You have to watch the sub. So
okay, well, hold on. Before we start like making comments like that, and so now everyone's gonna be thinking like, I'm that dude that's like sub is better than dub. That's definitely not the case. I think I like watching dubbed a lot more. I grew up with dubbed, so I just think that there are some anime where the Japanese voice actors are able to convey the emotions better, and in a show where I think at least the first season where it felt like no one was really saved. And there's a lot of dying. The Japanese language is much stronger in conveying that sense of like fear and death and such, in a more artistic way than you really feel like it's the good. They got some good blood curdling screams in there.
I definitely agree with that. In the sense, like I know, like I am not a sub all the way kind of person or dub all the way. Like I think a mix is good. Like for example, My Hero, I think does amazing with the dubs. That's one that's the first one that comes to mind when I think of good dubs. But like for example, JoJo, for everyone, I'm sure everyone's watched JoJo Bizarre Adventure.
You're part of that fandom.
Of course, dude.
People talk about the JoJo fandom. I enjoy JoJo's. I do.
JoJo is so good, but yeah, you gotta. It's sub or nothing with that one because I watched. It might get better, but I watched the first couple episodes. I tried watching them with the dub, and I was like, no, it's trash, just trash. So, but no, I definitely agree that it's a mix. I think some it just kind of depends. Like you're right with it, and I think that's with anything, right? And like a movie or any kind of cinema or television show, it just depends on the actors themselves and how they can portray it. And,
and I think I talked about this about. I think I talked about this with like my girlfriend and my roommates, and then like Netflix now is doing a lot of international movies, and they're trying to sub. They're subbing English, or they're dubbing English over like people speaking Japanese and Chinese. French and German, and you can just the vocal or like the mouth movements are so different. Like English as a language has very different lip movements in comparison to those, and like anime can get away with it because really they don't like characters don't really have defined lips like in movies do. So it looks like I feel we've come a long way from the Speed Racer dub, which if you've ever seen that's like. Think of like the iconic like Godzilla movies and how terrible those were.
I definitely agree. Like I was watching the new some of the Netflix stuff, and you'll like I've seen the foreign films where they dub it in English. It looks bad and it sounds bad too. I feel like it should just just give them the subtitles, and I think it'll be good. Let the actors kind of like portray it. But no, I definitely agree with that. Any more news and events we want to talk about today?
For those of you who aren't aware, My Hero Academia will launch on March 27th. Season 5. Yes. If it actually catches up to the manga, it's gonna be wild. This is it. This is it.
This is it. You think they're gonna take like go off on their own thing, or you think they're gonna
no,
keep track?
Nah, he's writing gold right now.
Yeah.
So I know this. I'm gonna address the people who go out there and say that My Hero is mid. And I think with it does a better job of telling a superhero story than some of the Marvel movies do.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how blasphemous that's going to sound. I think here we go. I think we should do a section where we just do hot takes.
Hot takes. So this is the first hot take.
Yeah,
Marvel's trash.
Was it hotter wings and even hotter takes?
Yeah.
Shout out to
Hot Wings.
Yeah,
they're actually
before we was the first week feast so we don't get sued.
Yeah. They're actually on. They'll be on the week after we get. Who do we say we get on? Yes.
When I somehow get Derek Carr to talk about.
Yeah. Immediately right after Derek Carr, it will be on.
Dude,
we're just
doing it big.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I think it tells a very complete. I think it tells a much better story. You get a more compelling villain, which is the thing I feel like a lot of superhero movies have always struggled with. Besides, like the Joker.
Joker's always good. Mark Hamill's is amazing.
Yeah, Mark Hamill, Heath Ledger, Thanos. I think Thanos was one. And then,
Thanos was a good villain. Love to hate him.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where they go with Shigaraki and All for One. That's gonna be crazy. Another anime that is on my radar that I actually told one of our other friends about. It's called Ragnarok. I'm sorry, I swear I know what I'm talking about.
The typing suggests otherwise.
I know it is Record of Ragnarok. So, those of you who have not had the opportunity to read that manga and you want to get ahead, I would highly recommend reading it. Shout out to the Trash Taste podcast. I think they talked about it in one of the recommendations. And I followed it, and it is awesome. If you enjoy tournament arcs, it is literally a giant tournament arc.
Nice.
The gods are voting on Ragnarok, and one of the Valkyries says, before you wipe out humanity, you should let them first fight. And it is essentially a drag out 1v1 between gods and humanity's greatest warriors.
Oh shoot, really? That's time. Oh, through all periods of time.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty dope.
So yeah, I think one of the fights ends up being who is it? Ends up being like Adam from Adam and Eve. If you know your creationist mythology.
You know the Bible, the first anime, or the first manga. The first manga.
The first of the Harry Potter series. We're probably gonna get like shadow banned or something. But yeah. So Jack the Ripper is in it. Thor 5.
Jack the Ripper's a fighter?
Yeah, Jack the Ripper's a fighter. It's basically, it takes a little bit after Fate.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Without the 40 different timelines and alternate histories, and so.
So when will I see the Ragnarok hentai? Like, when should I expect that?
We're gonna go down that road. I'm not here to tell people where to find the good stuff. If you know what to do, you know what to do.
All right then. So I'll expect the links in the email soon once you get them, Daniel.
Okay.
Appreciate
it.
I'll
be sure to pass that on for you.
Appreciate it. We'll pass it on to the fans too. Don't worry. Alrighty. So any other news?
Nothing much so far. I think we're all just waiting to get back to normal. Hopefully things end up working out and we can go back to conventions.
I know.
Have more fan. Not us, because I don't think we've developed the fans yet. But besides like our moms, I feel like our moms are more fans.
Shout out, Mom. Love you.
Yep. But now I'm just excited to get back to conventions and stuff like that. I know like they've been doing a lot of virtual cons. Don't know if I could do it.
What do they do in the virtual cons? Like, is it just kind of?
Yeah, basically what I do as a teacher, which is shout out, I teach PE and I have 80 kids in a Zoom meeting, so I'm assuming it's a lot like that.
I got you.
Yeah.
A lot of sweat, a lot of. It's just, but you don't get the full feel because you don't get like all like the sweatiness
Oh,
everybody, and for like 10,000 people jammed into one hall.
oh, dude, it's awesome. It makes you appreciate the little things, like people who wear deodorant or people who understand space and boundaries.
And for anybody who's out there who's never been to a convention and thinks that's just a stereotype, it's not the stereotype. It's real. When we went out to SAC Anime, day one was okay, but probably by the end of day one, we went out to their. They had it was a swap meet.
Oh yeah, they have like a big old swap meet where you can.
And trade your waifu, your figurines. Do some hard trades.
People become killers in that thing, man. It's wild.
I will give you my holographic Charizard for your Rias Grimly statue.
Hey, I'd make that trade 10 out of 10 times.
I mean, I know.
So.
But yeah, no, definitely, it was bad. It smelled. It was bad.
So if you do decide to attend the con, remember the biggest things that will allow you to experience it to its full potential are be kind, wear deodorant, respect people's boundaries.
Yeah.
And honestly, you'll have a dope time. It's cool being in such a big area where there's so many people who have similar interests, and it's.
And the cosplay in there alone, it was amazing. And I would say it was probably ours was. I mean, SAC Anime is pretty big, but I mean, some of those high tier cons you go to, like I know you went. What's the one you guys?
Oh, Fanime. It's kind of like Fanime. Cool. Shout out to Fanime.
Mm-hmm.
That was an experience. That was awesome. I had a good time there. But yeah, that one was high level too. One of my favorite anime is Violet Evergarden. There's a girl there who did one of the Japanese intros to Violet Evergarden, and that was it. That was magical. I was there. I was floating above the clouds. But yeah, no, it's it's going up a tier list, right? Like
exactly.
SAC Anime is not bad. It's just not as big as the other ones, and the bigger it is, the more all out.
And to be fair, I think there was because they had to do like a last minute change on their on the venue, right?
So. Yeah, the convention was at the Cal Expo rather than like the convention halls, which makes it a little tougher, I think. But.
Yeah. So and the one thing I gotta give SAC Anime that I really appreciate was when they had all the voice actors and stuff there.
Oh yeah, you were successful in. I couldn't do it, man. That fight, I've tried to do it with pro athletes, and it's like it's
rough.
It's people become natural born killers, man. At that point.
Well, I mean, it was rough. I actually got a good story, which I'll get into. But yeah, so the thing was, they had you got a pass when you went in for anybody that wasn't there, and you got to get one free signature from all the voice actors that they had there, and it was amazing. So I believe they had like Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Sokka, I think.
Sokka. The one that I coveted was they had the Goblin Slayer and the Priestess from Goblin Slayer. It's trash anime, but they do so good. They do such good work.
It's a lot. Yeah, so it's a lot to unpack in the anime. Maybe one day we'll delve into that realm.
Not episode 1, but definitely the line. I remember going out to that line, and Jessica, my waifu, and I got out there. We got out there right when he was supposed to get there. It was probably like 10 o'clock. We were out there like 9:50, and we're like, yeah, we'll probably have to wait in the line, but it wouldn't be too bad. But it was a big hall. You remember it? You were there. It was a big, almost like a high school basketball stadium.
Yeah,
I would say probably about 2 of those put together. It was pretty decent.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And line all the way out, and it wasn't just one line. It was like a conglomerate of just people, and it looked like multiple lines, and it was a complete mess. And I remember being there, and I just remember we stood in the back for about 45 minutes, and the line didn't move at all. And so I remember looking at Jessica, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going in. So I went up to the front because I figured, okay, maybe there's like people are just like stopped and there's no flow, because you could see where it breaks off in the smaller lines. So I just wanted to go ask somebody, okay, where am I in the right line? Especially because if I'm going to be there it looked like we were going to be there for 3+ hours. Yeah. Which I was committed to make it work. But I remember I went up to someone. I was like, "Hey, I'm here to see Goblin Slayer." What is his name? He's also the Black Power Ranger in the original Power Rangers, right?
No, you're thinking of Bleach. That was the one we were sitting down.
Was that the one?
That's Johnny Young Boss, and he was the replacement Black Power Ranger.
Oh, he was the replacement. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So shout out Power Rangers. That's big. That's my jam. Grew up with it, so that's where my love of giant robots came from.
You gotta love a good mech, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Andy Mullins. That's what it was. Okay. I swore he was. Maybe I was looking at something because maybe he was in a spin-off of something because he had like a Power Ranger. It looked like a Power Ranger kind of thing on his one of his display. So maybe he was in something like that. But anyways, I remember asking for him. I was like, "Yeah, I'm here to see Andy Mullins, the Goblin Slayer." And the dude just waves me up. He's like, "All right, here he is," because they just didn't have any organization. So the lines for all the actual, the lines to actually see the voice actors were all empty, but everybody was standing in one big line. So there was no movement, and they weren't picking people from the line like when there was like an empty spot, which in hindsight's 2020. But so anyways, he moves me up to the front, and I go from looking at a 3+ hour wait, and he just puts me right in the front, and I'm like 2 people away from getting that signature. So I remember I called Jessica, waifu, and I was like, I don't know how I did it, but
I've made it. You have to go.
You gotta. I don't need you. Give me 5 minutes. I'm about to reach the top of Mount Olympus.
I'll come back to pick you up. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm about to dine with the gods themselves, babe. Don't worry about it.
So be honest. As soon as it happened, how quickly did you forget that you were with somebody else there?
I started I got nervous, actually. I got super nervous. Because I was like, all these people are looking at me. Because I'll be honest, I felt bad. But at the same time, I'm like,
you got to get
I got to get what I got to get. And I felt bad in the moment, but I don't regret it. Because honestly, it was, they were just, the people there, and they were just volunteers and stuff. I think there was just not a lot of, with the venue change, there was just a lot that wasn't going for it. So I was just like, and I just remember seeing all the people, they're looking at me, they're thinking like, oh my God, who's this VIP? And I'm just some random weeboo off the streets, just trying to get my one signature.
And now look at you.
Exactly. Now look at me. Now I'm super. Now I'm still that weeboo, but I got the signature. Yeah. So I remember I called her, and I remember I called Jessica, and I was just shaking. I was like, "Just give me 2 minutes. Just wait. Just wait right there. I'll be right back. I'm about to get. They bumped me up. I'm about to get the signature." So I come up, and then I got to see. I got to meet Andy Mullins, the voice actor for Goblin Slayer, and then I got to meet the voice actor for the Priestess. And I got both their signatures, and they're both really nice people. I forget the name of the actress.
Sarah Weidencraft or something like that.
Yeah. So she actually, because I was wearing all my hero gear, and I had my gray sweater, and I had my hat. So I looked like a dad, but it had a UA high on it.
I've seen
and
that.
So yeah, I think I pull it off good. I got that dad bod, so it kind of all works out. But I remember me and Sarah, we were talking, and she was like, "Oh, I love My Hero," because she saw my gear, and we were talking about I think season 4. We were halfway through season 4 at that point back then, so we were talking about everything going on with the fighting with Night Eye and all that. She's telling me she likes the Night Eye. I was telling her, oh yeah, Deku's my boy all the way. I'm a fanboy by heart.
Bonded. So yeah,
so we bonded, and it's like, because you think these people are like, they're like, to me and you, they're like
God,
and to like everybody, they're like, they're like, these are the people. You are the priestess from Goblin Slayer. You are the Goblin Slayer. Like,
they're
high tier.
Yeah, like,
exactly. But they were like, when you talk with them, they're just people, and it's like, it was so cool. And then like, Andy Mullins, he was a real cool dude, and like, he was like, he was out there shaking, he was giving hugs to people, taking pictures, and he was really excited to be out there. And like, I remember like listening to him chit chat while I was waiting in line, saying like, this is they just reached out to me. I'm so excited to do this. I can't, I want to keep going to conventions and stuff, meeting all the fans. So it's really cool. They were, it was, because I think that's everybody's worst fear. It's like you meet like a celebrity or something like that, and they're just
heroes.
Yeah, exactly. Never meet your heroes, but they actually, I gotta say, I had a very positive experience. I got my signatures. I ran the fuck out of there as fast as I could, and now it's hanging on my wall.
So I hope if Andy Mullins over here listens to this podcast, I hope he knows that he made a grown boy very happy that day.
I shed one tear of joy.
There you go.
It's right down my left. It was down my left cheek. I was so happy because, honestly, if I didn't go up and ask, I don't think I would have gotten that signature, because they were only there for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then I think right after he was supposed to go to the next convention hall, and he did his
what's it called?
A meet and greet.
Yeah.
Where he like answers questions, like Q&A and all that. So I was just super stoked, and I thought I was super happy. But yeah, that's my most memorable convention experience, and hopefully 2021 we get some more. Once the world gets back to normal, if it does. But any more news and events? I think that covers about all of it.
Yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything we were hoping to cover. Yeah. Let's see.
Well, so the next section I have is I'm really excited for this one. I call it, Is It Canon? And so the concept behind it is each of us will go back and forth, and we're going to come up with synopsis for an anime. And I got a real anime, and I wrote a synopsis for it, and I made up one. I made up an anime, and I wrote a synopsis for it. Okay. So this week I'm going to go first. You're the first contestant. Congratulations. You're the first contestant on Is It Canon? I'm going to read you them both, and you have to guess which one is the fake one, which one's the real one.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready for this?
All right.
Waifu Jessica approved of both of these, so.
Okay. Hey.
So I think they're pretty good. Like, I don't mean to toot my own horn. I know I'll probably get, like, everyone's gonna say it's trash, but I'm pretty good. I did my best. But anyways, enough tooting my own horn. Let me go ahead and go into it. Okay. So I'm gonna start the first one. A distant alien race sends a platoon of alien soldiers to invade planet Earth and conquer it. But the platoon's plans for world domination are quickly thwarted as the leader of the platoon is captured by a human family and is forced into doing household chores and basic errands.
Uh-huh.
So that's the first one.
Okay.
The second one. An average high school student's life changes forever when he is blackmailed into joining the arm wrestling club by the female school president after it is discovered that he has a powerful right arm. With the threat of being labeled as a pervert, it is up to this high school student to bring honor back to the school. Okay.
I'm gonna say the second one sounds like an anime.
The second one?
Yeah.
Okay. So the correct answer is actually the first one.
What's the first one called?
So the first one is, let me pull it up, is actually the synopsis for Sergeant Frog.
Oh.
It's an anime. The manga was released back in April of 1999.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think the original run of the show also released back in same year.
It's the early 2000s. Yeah, I had a friend who swore by it. He thought it was so good. He was.
The original run, April 3rd, 2004. They released a total of 350. It's actually a big series, but I knew it was an obscure one. Me and Jessica watched it, and it's one of those slice of life, and it's I think it's really funny. It's a really, like, if you're just looking for, just like a nice time, a nice time and something you don't really have to pay attention to. Yeah, that's something I'd put on. Yeah,
that's a damn thing.
Yeah, but pretty much the synopsis is, so it's Sergeant Frog he's the leader of the platoon that's sent. So they're little frog guys, and they're sent to go. There's 5 of them that are sent, and they're like, the aliens are like, you got to take over planet Earth. But when they get here, Sergeant Frog they like all get separated. Sergeant Frog gets captured, and then he's like, it's just a wacky shenanigans. The family finds him in the house, and they like, all right, well, now you're a pet, so now you gotta like do the dishes and shit. And then like, so the story, like, Sergeant Frog keeps trying to take over the world, and he like, there's like a bunch of like, they try to do a bunch of it's like just a bunch of wacky shenanigans. They'll do like a bunch of like, oh, he's got the nuke, but like the nuke turns out to be like a confetti blaster and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a really lighthearted one. The second one, completely fake. I made it up. But if it was an anime, the title of it, I think, should be called Arm Wrestle Love Mania.
Arm Wrestle Love Mania. Okay.
Yeah. Now, do you have a better title for it?
Nothing that I can think of that is appropriate for our listeners.
I'm really glad that you thought it was the second one. I spent a lot of time on thinking of what I would write for it. I knew it. I wanted to think, because I feel like a lot of anime, it's always like, oh, you're this average dude that, oh, now I'm forced to go become a champion or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you fell for that. Well, you lost the first round. Okay. It was close. You almost had it. You almost cinched it, but
No, it's not not my best.
It's okay. Episode 1, there'll be more chances, and you get that honor. But for this week, I get the bragging rights. So
okay. Yeah, I'll get you next week.
Exactly. We'll see. You have to bring it in hot.
So I'm gonna add my own little thing in, and this is just because I like watching Watch Mojos of the world, just because, as bad as the lists are or whatever, I enjoy the level of hot takeness that they have, because I think it creates conversation. I like seeing conversation.
But I think we can both agree that the Watch Mojo lists are whack, right?
Watch Mojo lists are whack. I will not lie. They've had some pretty hot takes that we've been upset with over the years.
I think we've both have sat down, and we would come together over the years, and we'd watch the Watch Mojo list. Our one friend Chris would literally flip tables over some of the answers.
Hey, they do have some pretty bad takes, man. I'm not gonna lie to you there.
Yeah,
but but I like to continue in that vein of watching that, or sports.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either agree or disagree with me on this one. I think Naruto is a bad shonen protagonist. I think his story has a lot of plot holes, and I think as in comparison to characters like Asta, even like Midoriya from My Hero, Black Clover, I think his story is extremely unnecessary.
Can you elaborate a little more?
Yeah. So
Before all the comments of
before all the 12-year-olds that I teach and stuff come after me and that I've said blasphemy in this house. Yeah. So my argument to that is, how is it just because, like, for example, with Black Clover, right? Asta lives in a world where magic is fundamental to living, right? So like it's like finding out Harry Potter can't do magic in Harry Potter land. Like, what, it's like being what do they call them?
Muggles.
Not muggles. Squibs. Squibs are people who are born magic but they have no innate magic abilities.
Oh, okay.
It's like being born a squib. Like, you end up as like the janitor, which is what happens in Harry Potter. And like the fact that it is a little plot armory that his weapon is designed to absorb magic, but little
over the top, especially when you get to the later, like, no spoilers or anything, but when you get into it later, it gets mental. It gets crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, or even like Midoriya, who inherits One for All, and like, because it's ahead of the timeline, he has to learn how his power works without hurting himself.
I do agree with that. I think Midoriya as a main character is I know I feel like that's going to be like, because My Hero is, you ask any kid in middle school right now, My Hero is all the craze. Like, I get like that's just the popular pick, but I do really feel like, especially when we watched it back when season 1 first came out, and we watched that first season, like watching and then like even when the tournament, especially season 2, when the tournament part comes around, then the UA festival, you really get to see Midoriya grow, and you get to see, like, you're totally right. He's given this pretty much, because I feel like that's most animes, the main character is given ultimate power, right? Yeah. Asta. It's just how you use it. And I feel like they did a really good job with Deku, because he's given the ultimate power, but he can't handle it. So now he's got to figure out different ways how to use it. I think that's really good. So you're saying with Naruto, you think he's too much? What, do you want more sexy jutsu, or what's going on here, bud?
I think, and this isn't meant to be a criticism of I think it's Kishimoto or anything like that. I don't want people coming from my head on this one. Like, it is a hot take, I'm not gonna lie, but I think his journey didn't have to be as hard.
Oh, okay.
Like, it, in the grand scheme of things. Like, so for example, right, he loses, I hope at this point we've all seen it. Like, for example, he loses his parents. And then the leader of the village is like, we're just gonna act like his parents didn't sacrifice themselves.
I gotta say, I even watching it, and it's been a while since I've watched all of Naruto. Did they ever address that?
No. Well, it's kind of Harry Potter. He's literally Harry Potter.
He's Harry Potter. We don't talk about it. But your parents were great, but we can't talk about it. Because I know they mentioned it in the first couple. It's like, oh, that's the kid. We can't talk about it. It's forbidden. Yeah, shit like that. But you would think, like, I don't know, like, that the third Hokage would at least maybe sit down, because obviously the village is taking care of this kid. The third Hokage was taking care of Naruto not only because he's got the Nine-Tails demon in him, but also that his father was, the fourth, and it was like one of the greatest, like, ninja warriors of the Leaf, and like saved the whole Hidden Leaf from the Nine-Tailed demon, and like sacrificed him, and it's like all this shit. You'd think they would have had at least sat down and told him, like, listen, buddy, this is, or even like, I don't know.
Yeah, you could have told him who his parents were. He lived his whole life not knowing who they were.
And then that's the, like, right, even if they would have given him just a little tidbit, like, right, then it's like, that's who I aspire to be. My parents, I have to live, because I think, you could even still, it's like, I think that the idea of,
I grew up without being loved because no one was there for me, and grew up as an outsider. I think you could still take that take, but like you could have given it. I agree with you. You could have given him something.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's just like, oh yeah, everyone fucking hates me. I'm just I am the loner. I am the knight.
Yeah, and everyone's like, what? Like, as a teacher, as someone who's an educator, like, usually when you see, and this is a common behavioral thing for those of you who want to learn about some teacher struggles. Usually, when kids are acting out, there's something going on that's causing them to act out. It's not even like most kids aren't intentionally trying to like be bad, despite like what all the psychological murder mysteries are like. Oh yeah, they started fires, and it's not like that. It's like they just want someone to notice them.
Yeah.
And like,
that's the whole thing. That's why he's all acting out and stuff. And no, I agree. And like, I guess they get into it a little more in Shippuden, like when they do the time skip. And
I think the thing that made me mad about it was like that they whooped on him so much, right? And then he saves the village, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Naruto is like the dude.
He's the golden boy." Yeah. We've loved you all along.
Yeah, we've loved you all along, and not to mention like, I mean, okay, that's getting outside of Naruto. Getting outside of Naruto's like backstory, just like, I mean, I know. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. Goku had 2 moves. It's the Kamehameha wave, and then drop with the equivalent of like a nuclear bomb on the enemy. But like I don't know, man. Like they show so much cool creativity with some of the abilities. Like,
you don't like the Shadow Clone cop out?
I do like it, but it's when it's written. So like the final fight, right? You watch the final fight between Sasuke and him when they're at the end, right? Sasuke's like, I have to kill everybody. And Naruto's like, no, that's bad. If you watch, this is also evidence that it's a very well choreographed fight, in the sense that Sasuke knows Naruto's weakness, which is that Naruto is gonna go to what he knows best, which is the Shadow Clones. If you watch the fight, when you see Naruto put his hands together to do it, he hits his hands like either down or up. Like he's like deflecting it.
Yeah. And
like at that point, like I play sports. All right, if that's not working, you got to go to your other thing.
There you go.
And like Sasuke really, I mean, he has like Chidori and like Fireball, and then all his lightning abilities. He has a sword. He has the 2 greatest eye jutsus in the anime.
In the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I can open portals and I can like see the future basically.
Yeah.
I can create a giant like Tengu soul like body like Megazord basically, and hit you as hard and shoot like a lightning laser beam at you. And like
he's got some moves, and then Naruto's I got clones.
I can do the Kurama form, which then also gets clones. And then Rasengan. That's 4 moves. Which I mean, yeah, I can already see the pushback from like Midoriya has the punches, but he's learning how to do the kicks. Like
the kicks are cool. But no, I get you. Yeah, I think it would have been cool to see. Like, I get it. The concept is like he's that bad. He's got so much power, but he's that bad at
and he's
jutsus.
And Boruto, they show that he's like
he can do it,
competent fighter and stuff like that. And like I don't know, I just feel like he kind of rushed that level of us understanding his power, like because that's what I feel like makes My Hero and Black Clover makes you appreciate, or like even Demon Slayer, right? Tanjiro gets his ass kicked every fight.
Yeah.
And not like like he's just naturally outmatched against this supernatural being that's designed to eat humans. But with him, it's his creativity, it's understanding his own strengths, and then understanding the main abilities of the villain that he's fighting that makes him. Well, I think he's a good shonen protagonist because it shows that he's intelligent. Yeah, it shows that level of strategy and stuff like that. And like same thing with Midoriya, right? He has all those books on superheroes, so he understands like how to combine powers together.
No, I get you. And like he even makes I'm thinking first season when he's up against Bakugo, and they're doing the heroes versus villains. He knows that Bakugo's going to always start with that right hook, kind of like what you said with Sasuke and Naruto. Yeah. He's always going to start with a big right hook, so I'm going to go in, grab him, and I'm going to give him that judo flip.
Yeah, he's going to give him hit him with the people's elbow at the end.
Exactly. Justice for all.
Yeah, and then that shows good character development on, I think, Bakugo's side, because I think in their second fight, Midoriya predicts he's going to do it again, and Bakugo, recognizing that, switches it.
Yeah, does he do a left, or does he does a kick or something?
Yeah, he baits does
a feint and then goes in for like a kick or something.
Yeah, so they're basically that's what I feel good. Like Sasuke understands Naruto's abilities.
Yeah.
What was Naruto? Naruto's like, okay, well, let me just shadow clone until
I'm gonna shadow clone, but there's gonna be one shadow clone you don't see.
And I come out of the dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I come from the ground.
Yeah, that's the under. Yeah, that's the move no one sees, is him putting a clone in the ground and then punching, like, uppercuts in the face.
Exactly. So I get that. I get what you're saying, and I agree. I think that's probably the flaw of most anime characters.
Yeah.
I think the more today, I feel like, I mean, maybe this is dumb, but I feel like, and again, maybe it's just because we've been watching, we got My Hero, we got Demon Slayer, we got these really like smart protagonists that maybe we're just a little spoiled with that. But I can see. I think Naruto, I think he does grow, but you would like to see some more jutsu, especially in the world of jutsu. Yeah. I also feel like, and I feel like that's the problem with Boruto. I think we can both agree Boruto compared to Naruto, garbage. Or is this the next hot take?
I think this will be my next hot take. I'll take the heat of the podcast from everybody.
Okay, we'll save. Okay, then if that's the case, we'll wait. We'll save this for episode 2.
Okay. I will say this. I'm gonna leave you with this food for thought. Cut out the filler.
Mm-hmm.
Pick the main storylines. Mm-hmm. So the Sarada figuring out who her dad is, which was a weird storyline, but still was cool.
It was cool. Yeah, I thought that was very weird. I thought the story behind it was like when you got it was kind of wholesome. Actually, I have a hot take on that too. I think we should save this for a second.
Okay.
But finish your thought, and then.
I will say, if you take out the filler from Boruto, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually good if you take out the really crappy filler. Yeah.
And you take out all 80 episodes of filler.
Yeah, that's the downside. But and then my final piece to piggyback off of that, I'm just gonna take all the time for it. But when people watch it, they get mad that it's not like Naruto. And what people don't remember is that Naruto was raised in a time when literally everyone was willing to kill each other. Mm-hmm. Right? Like they were sending 6-year-olds to war.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, Sasuke is gonna know how to fireball jutsu. Of course, Kakashi like was essentially like Secret Service at like 12.
Yeah.
And I think Itachi murdered his family at 15. Like,
yeah, that's some definitely that's metal. That's metal. And then we get to Boruto, and it's kind of like, which burger shop should we go to today?
I mean, yeah. When the village in the Hidden Leaf Village is literally has the equivalent of 2 with WMDs.
Exactly.
Like roaming around, like what village is really gonna try and
try to mess around?
Like like homeboy in the mist, like the shark dude. Like if he had killed Boruto, Naruto would have blown that whole place up.
Oh yeah, you're right. He would have. Yeah, that whole thing though, I felt that was forced. It was. That's the whole thing. But we'll get into that. I think that will be a good debate. We'll do next week's episode.
Okay.
We'll see. Is Boruto trash?
I like it.
You're gonna have to find out. I don't. So we'll go back and forth.
Give you a week to think about it, man.
Yeah, I'll pull out the PowerPoint and we'll go back and forth.
My 10-step PowerPoint.
How far are we at? So, how long have we been going? I think it feels like it's been a minute.
For about an hour.
For about an hour. Okay, so I got one more. I think this is a nice, easy one. The last segment is called Helping a Weeb in Need. I had 2 questions. I think we'll just do one. It's a real short one, nice and sweet. I just went onto the Reddit advice page, looked under...
anime, or we just...
I looked for anime.
Okay.
Maybe eventually we'll go into nerd fandom and stuff.
Okay.
No, we're just going straight into relationship advice.
Yeah, we're like, all right, what do I do? How do I buy an engine for my car? Okay, well, first thing you need to look at.
First thing. Why does my girlfriend not love me? Well, it's because she's in love with me. That's the problem.
We're just gonna solve everyone's problems. Huh?
Exactly. But no. So I went on to Reddit's advice page. I looked up some anime stuff. I typed in anime into the search engine, see what popped up. Kind of scrolled through it. So I picked out a couple. I think I'll just do the short one today. We'll save the rest for next week since we're already kind of going on an hour. So super simple question, real good. We got to help this man or person, you know.
Yeah, we don't assume genders.
We don't assume genders here on this podcast. We're gonna help this person out. Simple question: is One Punch Man a good show to pop my, so to speak, anime cherry?
Well, first off, I feel like there's a lot to unpack in that.
Yeah. And first of all, I gotta say the wording of that question.
Yeah, we could have asked that 25 different ways, and we would have been okay. But we just.
But I appreciate it.
Okay.
I obviously Daniel doesn't, but that's okay.
Do you want me to do you want us to like work on this together? Do you want me to do my take and then you do your take, or?
You go ahead. Yeah, you go first. I've kind of had some time to mull it over. Okay. So you go ahead and do yours first.
Oh, you're just giving me like the automatic takes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes and no. That's such a pop out answer. Yes and no. I say yes because it's a premise that we all understand. Mm-hmm. Superhero. If you don't understand the humor in it, if you don't understand why it is the way it is, I feel like you're gonna have a hard time with it. Mm-hmm. Which is why I think it's weird that they made a fighting video game out of it, but whatever.
Is that good? Speaking of it,
well, if you play One Punch Man, he KOs you in one punch.
That's it.
But they have a cast of other characters.
So is it kind of like the My Hero fighting game where it's like an actual like fighter, or
yeah.
Okay, because I've seen they have. Okay, I think I got confused because I've seen they also have an app game. So maybe I was thinking of the app game.
Oh yeah, no. It's
no. So they have a fighter, and if you play One Punch Man, it's literally one punch you're done.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you play as One Punch Man.
So does he just hit super slow? Is that the thing?
I don't understand. I don't know what it is. If anyone is listening to this and actually knows and wants to leave a comment when we post this on whatever forms of media we put it on, let us know. But yeah, I say if you don't understand why it's funny, right? Which is like Superman. Superman is essentially immortal. It's making fun of that, right? The hardest part for Superman is finding someone to fight. Imagine that kind of concept. He's just a dude who wants to be a hero, but he beats everybody, and no one can believe that he beats everybody. So that's like where the funniness comes in. I feel like me explaining it takes away the funny. But if you can understand that, then it's a good show. Then it's a good show as an intro.
My opinion, be it as it may, take it or leave it. Is One Punch Man a good starter? I think season 1, if you just watch season 1, I think it'll be good. I think it's good. And I think it's good, but I think season 2 could be another this might be our 4th hot take of this episode, but
yeah, I think it's time for you to potentially get some hate in the comments. So
yeah, I need to avert the fire away from you. I need to take the self-sacrifice. But I think season 2 of One Punch Man, honestly, it's just boring. Like I don't like it. I thought it was the first couple episodes was good, and then like I kind of we kept, because me and waifu Jessica, we kept watching it. We watched season 1. We love season 1 of One Punch Man because it's funny, right? There's a lot of really funny jokes because it's like you got this dude and he's just he's just an average dude that he just worked out really hard, and now he's just he can defeat anything.
Yeah.
But his problems are he's trying to get a deal at the grocery store, or he missed the Sunday sale.
Yeah, he's Peter Parker, man. He got that financial struggle. He ain't getting that.
Exactly.
He's not getting those trophies.
So I think that I think it's good. I think season 1's good, but I think honestly, if you're to go past season 1, I think you're gonna get disappointed if this is the first anime, because I think season 1's really good, and I don't know. I just don't think season 2 really leads up to it. If you want to, my recommendation is if you want to one along the same premise as One Punch Man, I'd say go Mob Psycho 100. They're written both by the same person. I just think the Mob Psycho story from season 1 to season 2 is more solid. The visual art in Mob Psycho, like the animation studio, is 100 times better. I believe the animation studio, I don't know the name of them, that did season 1 of One Punch Man.
I believe
it's the same.
Madhouse, which is pretty. But then this is the world renowned. They're pretty big.
So they did season 1. It looks really good. But for whatever reason, I don't think they did season 2 of One Punch Man. It looks completely different. I don't like the new art style. So maybe that's another thing that's throwing me off. And then when the story it got boring, I just kind of lost interest in it. But for Mob Psycho, it's just the art's there. It's beautiful. The story is really good. And it's kind of like the same story in a sense, right? You got one kid, you got Mob. And instead of the world of superheroes, it's the world of psychic and the supernatural. And you got one kid who's got so much power. He's got an unlimited well of power. It's just the problem is he's too scared of it to use it.
He's like the Hulk. He's like psychic Hulk.
Exactly. So he's too scared to use it. So he doesn't, he tries not to use it. And I think it's really cool because you'll see him do other stuff. He's trying to work out and become that's a whole other thing. He could become just focused on his psychic abilities and become they show other characters how their abilities to their abilities have kind of made them become this egotistical and think of themselves as above who they are. But for Mob, he just kind of comes at it. He's got more power than anybody, but he comes at it like a regular dude. Yeah. But also, so I think that one's a really good story. I think it's funny. There's a lot of small jokes in there. So I'm thinking One Punch Man is good, season 1. But I honestly think if this is, because that's the problem, right? And for someone who's new into the world of anime, I feel like you got to be you can't start them with okay, go watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You know what I mean?
JoJo's is a unique experience.
Yeah.
I think we could talk. We can spend a whole episode talking about JoJo's.
Yeah, that's a whole rabbit hole of the thing that we won't touch just yet. So. But yeah, so you know what I mean? You can't start them off with that. Yeah. So I feel for I feel like a first anime, to someone who's new into the world, you got to be very careful, I think, especially if you're somebody who's watched a lot. I feel like it's your job to kind of, you're guiding that person, right? Whether it be a younger sibling or a friend or whatever. But
yeah, I definitely, and I think piggybacking off what you said, even if it's not One Piece, I do believe that there is an anime for everybody at some point. It's just, I enjoy reading, and I believe it's the same with books. You can find some form of literature that someone will enjoy, whether it's manga, whether it's an actual chapter book. Same thing with anime. If you enjoy Scandal, there's a Scandal-esque show like that. If you enjoy Power Rangers, there's if you enjoy the cartoon, just the kind of more cartoony aspect, there's stuff like that. Yeah, romance, stuff like that.
If you want a harem, we got a lot of them.
I'm not saying that I've watched all of those and living a dream, but
but he does have multiple tier lists on websites we will not discuss the name of. So.
Yeah, let's not start rumors in case I somehow one of my kids ends up listening.
Yeah, we won't begin them yet.
Yeah.
Not until the clout train starts.
Not until I'm doing videos with 100 Thieves and all those guys. But,
Exactly.
So if you say no on One Piece, or One Punch Man, sorry, One Piece, what would you recommend as a starting anime?
So I think, like I said, Mob Psycho 100 is really good. Another one, again, it's going to be the cop out. I think My Hero Academia is just solid. Like, I think that was a good one. I mean, when, we were, when season 1 came out, we were both at Fresno State. We worked at the dorms there, and we would go, there would be viewing parties. We would have people come in. There was multiple viewing parties of people just watching My Hero.
Really?
Like when first season. Yeah, you don't remember that?
I do not. I do not remember that, to be honest.
I think you were because you were working the front desk. You were off in your own world when you came into work. But when I was there, we went. Me and Jessica went to like 3 different viewing parties for My Hero.
Uh-huh.
Just watching we just watching the one part when Shigaraki shows up with the League of Villains and they're trying to kill All Might for the first time.
Oh yeah,
we watched that.
Season 1.
Yeah, on season 1, right there when they're in the training fields. Yeah, and he fights the Nomu. Such a good fight. We watched that at least 3 times in the dorms. It was we watched that way too many times. So I feel like that one, I don't know, that one's good. And right now superheroes, that's the thing. So I feel like that's an easy starter, And the concept's simple, people have special powers, they want to become superheroes. So I feel like that's a good starter. Another one, what else? Some other good ones. Let's
do one each, and then we'll let we'll let
the comments. Everyone listening out there, put your favorite. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll say My Hero for mine.
Yours, okay. I'm gonna keep it old school. I'm gonna go nice and easy. I'm gonna say something like I know everyone gets mad at Pokemon for like being too kiddie and like kind of easy and stuff like that, but it lets you experience the taste of the joke, like just kind of the style of jokes that are going to be in anime. They do get away with some surprisingly raunchy jokes, and I think it's just like a good because if you jump into one and the humor is not for you, the whole like falling and hitting the ground and someone says something shocking and stuff like that. If that's not kind of your beat, then like at least like Pokemon, you can kind of follow along with the beat of like, all right, this is how it is.
When's the last time you watched the first season of Pokemon?
I watched it actually. I actually watched it with my girlfriend. She is a big horse person and she enjoys Ponyta. So I found the episode with Ponyta in it and I just put it on randomly and we just sat there and watched it.
Just a Ponyta episode. So, one day, with her permission, I'll tell a good story from that. But yeah. So that was the last time I watched it. They have a new one like Pokemon Adventures, and that one I'm actually kind of hyped for because Ash actually has a dope team. He has like a Gengar. He has like a legit like stacked team. Oh, so it's not like he's got like a Pidgey and a Butterfree anymore.
Yeah, I think he's like a Dragonite. It's like wow. He's got like a heavy.
Oh really? He's got some hitters.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he becomes he finally becomes a master?
That's the Sun and Moon one. The one I'm talking about it's a Netflix original one.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So yeah, if you want to, that's a good kind of pacing for that, and especially you can watch it with the kids. If you want to, go with that. I think Sword Art is actually pretty decent. I know people hate on it, but at least the beginning it gives you kind of a different vibe. We'll get into more genres as you continue to want us to come back. So that's all.
I like it. Well, I think that's everything I have on the topic. Any other final comments you got, Daniel?
Questions, comments, or concerns? Yeah, actually, I think you do have just for the people who are listening and maybe they're interested in entering anime. Netflix is always a very solid option. Hulu has a very solid selection as well. There's ones and the more anime based ones. So you have Funimation, which is the dubs. That one's famous for doing Dragon Ball. That's pretty much the biggest one. That's like a lot of the big names that started with Funimation, who are now voice actors in different things, and video games and stuff like that. Crunchyroll is the subbed is if you want it straight from the source. Usually those are ahead of the subbed. So if you don't like waiting, do the subbed. Do Crunchyroll. You can also find subbed on Hulu and Netflix. There are alternate places like High Dive. There's another one. It's like High Dive. Oh, Verve, which carries a collection from like Crunchyroll and stuff like that. So there's multiple outlets. I definitely, not trying to say don't try and do like the legal streaming stuff, but these, especially in times like this, one thing you'll learn about this industry is a lot of people who are at the bottom don't get paid a lot of money. So this is my like shout out to the people who work hard, man. They make some awesome content, and a lot of these people deserve the recognition. So do the subscriptions. If you fall in love with it, buy the DVDs, buy the merch. Just help put money in these guys' pockets because they're giving.
Yeah, they definitely deserve it. And what go off of that. Funimation, I have that one. That's the one I recommend. That's my choice for anybody. The interface is not the best, but they have it's kind of ass, but it has solid choices. A lot of dubs are on there, which especially if you're starting out in anime. I know for my waifu Jessica, it is she doesn't like the subs as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she'll watch them, but it's easier when it's a dubbed. And I know Funimation has a lot of dubbed. We tried Crunchyroll for a little bit, but Crunchyroll's like all subs, so she didn't like it as much. So but for Funimation, it's only $5 a month, which in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot. And you can go to the whatever site whatever pirating site, but honestly, it's worth it. And it's if you want them to keep making it, you gotta show the love.
Yeah, you gotta shout out the money, man. That's why they made 25 Avenger movies and all that stuff.
Exactly. And just to go a little off topic, we're not gonna talk about it today, but for the reason you brought up, the greatest tragedy I think in the world of anime. There's this one called Stars Aligned. I know we've talked about it. It's the tennis one.
You're all in. We're gonna find some fans on here for you, but you gotta people.
The greatest tragedy since the fall of Rome. That is my take.
We have two very different priorities, man. I'm waiting for High School DxD season 5.
Ooh. When is that slated?
Oh, the author was like, you got to buy the books. I was like, okay, I'm all in, man. Roll out.
So you're buying multiple copies.
You and Jessica about to get one for Christmas.
For Christmas.
Christmas, man.
Oh, that's funny.
Ready.
I'm excited. Yeah, I just put in some new shelves in the room, so that'll look good.
Yeah, there you go.
And there it is. Well, then there it is. So everybody go out, get all the subscriptions you can right now.
Pay as much as cable.
Exactly. Charge the credit. If your credit number, if your credit is not in the 900s, you're not doing it right, really.
If you don't know how you're gonna pay for your stuff next week because you just blew it all on anime, welcome to the fandom.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you guys for being a part of this journey. We're excited to take the first step. Hopefully you guys will be here from the very beginning. If not, I look forward to introducing more people into the world, and hopefully somehow, some way, somewhere we make a difference.
Yeah, exactly. If you keep listening, we're going to be, I'm thinking right now, hopefully we're going to try to put this out weekly.
Yeah.
And we're at this moment, we don't know exactly where we're going to be putting it up at. So you'll know more if you're listening to it. But just tune in. We'll have linked below. We'll have an email If you have any questions, comments, and concerns, or just if you want to reach out to us, we'd love to hear it. But yeah, thanks for listening. You guys have a wonderful day.
Yep. Happy 2021, everyone.
Happy 2021.
Stay healthy.
Stay safe, and stay weird, dude.
All right.
All righty. Catch you guys later.